Have you ever found yourself assuming that as we get older, things like a little memory loss or less physical energy are just, well, inevitable? That cognitive and physical decline is simply part of the deal?
Yeah, it's a really common thought, isn't it? This idea that our bodies and minds are sort of on a one-way track downwards.
Exactly. But what if I told you that that whole assumption might be fundamentally wrong?
Well, that's exactly what our deep dive is about today. We're going to challenge that idea, that premise, with some really compelling research.
Okay, compelling research. And it sounds like this isn't just about, feeling a bit better, but something genuinely transformative. So what is this surprising concept? What can it actually do for our health, our longevity?
That's the core of it. We're digging into how certain types of hobbies, specific ones, aren't just pastimes. They can literally rewire the brain, strengthen the immune system, and, well, significantly extend a healthy, vibrant life.
Yeah.
Yeah, this deep dive pulls back the curtain on some incredible research. Stuff often hidden away in medical journals. We're talking Harvard Medical School, Stanford, the Mayo Clinic, plus some really inspiring personal stories.
And the goal, what sets these hobbies apart?
That's the key question. What
Yeah.
makes these activities truly transformative? We'll get into that.
All right, so you're challenging a really deep-seated belief here that cognitive decline is, unavoidable.
hmm
What's the latest research actually telling us? How does it shift our view of brain aging?
It's a crucial point. The research is showing pretty unequivocally now that cognitive decline isn't inevitable. And the reason is something amazing called neuroplasticity.
Neuroplasticity, right? The
Ah,
brain changing.
exactly. It means your brain can keep growing new neural pathways, strengthening connections well into your 90s and even beyond. It's a total shift from, what many of us learned. It's not about just slowing decay, it's about actively fostering growth.
Okay, let's make this concrete. Tell me about Margaret. She's 78, from Portland. A few years back, her doctor said her health was declining fast. High blood pressure, early dementia signs, chronic joint pain.
Hmm, a tough situation.
Yeah, her family was actually looking into assisted living. They thought, this was it, the inevitable slide. Margaret felt resigned too.
It's a story many families recognize, right? Believing it's just the natural course, not realizing there might be other possibilities.
But then something happened,
Uh,
something pretty extraordinary. 6 months later, Margaret sees her doctor, and the doctor literally asks her, "What miracle drug are you on?"
a miracle drug, okay.
And the answer, knitting.
Knitting,
Yeah,
seriously.
knitting. But, and this is the vital part, it wasn't just any knitting, not just a way to pass the time. It was complex pattern knitting.
Ah, okay. And that distinction is everything. It wasn't the knitting itself, but the specific challenge it posed to her brain. That complex pattern work likely activated what some neuroscientists call the longevity cascade.
Longevity cascade.
Yeah, it's like a synergistic effect. It activates pathways, promoting cellular repair, regeneration, basically starting to turn back the clock at a cellular level. It really highlights how the brain is stimulated, not just that it's active.
There's this great analogy in the research, comparing your brain to a garden. Every day you're either nurturing it, helping it grow, or, well, you're letting it wither through neglect.
That's a perfect way to put it.
So when we talk about these high complexity hobbies, what are they actually doing to the brain garden?
Well, they're not just making you feel good. They actively force your brain to build new connections, new networks. And this isn't just theoretical. You can see measurable growth on MRI scans.
Actual physical changes.
Absolutely. Dr. Patricia Reuter-Lorenz at the University of Michigan, she documented seniors engaging in specific hobbies. And after just 6 months, their brain activity patterns looked 20 years younger than their age.
20 years. That's incredible.
It is. The changes in their brain tissue were so dramatic, researchers initially thought the scanners were malfunctioning. It just shows the brain's capacity for, well, rejuvenation.
Wow. That really makes you think, doesn't it? When was the last time you learned something so challenging it felt like your brain was actually stretching?
Right. For many people, it might be years, decades even.
And maybe that's why so many seniors feel this cognitive decline is inevitable. But perhaps what they're really experiencing is something called cognitive boredom.
Exactly. Cognitive boredom. And the crucial thing is, it's often reversible. It's not the same as irreversible decline.
And the long-term studies back this up strongly.
Oh, absolutely. There's a massive 20-year study, followed over 3,000 seniors, and it found those who regularly engaged in these complex hobbies had a 40% lower risk of dementia,
40% lower risk. And what about physical health?
a 35% reduction in cardiovascular disease.
Huge numbers.
And get this, They lived, on average, 7.5 years longer than seniors involved in mostly passive activities like just watching TV.
7.5 years longer. But there's a catch, right? You mentioned specific criteria.
Yes, and this is so important for listeners. These amazing protective effects, they only seem to kick in when the hobbies met specific, often overlooked criteria.
So it's definitely not just about picking up any old hobby.
Not at all.
Okay, so what are these magic ingredients, these criteria?
The research points to four sort of non-negotiable characteristics. These are what turn a simple pastime into a longevity powerhouse, as they call it.
All right, let's break them down. What's the first one?
First up is cognitive load.
Cognitive load sounds intense. What does it mean?
It just means the activity has to really challenge your brain, make it process multiple streams of information all at once.
Okay, like mental juggling.
Kind of, yeah.
Mhm.
Think about learning a musical instrument. You're reading notes, coordinating fingers, listening to rhythm, maybe adding emotion. That's high cognitive load. It forces different parts of your brain to work together intensely.
Got it. Okay, characteristic number 2.
Number 2 is new or refined motor skills. So the hobby needs to involve developing new physical skills or taking existing ones to a much higher level of precision.
Ah, so physically demanding in a skilled way.
Precisely. That's why things like detailed landscape painting or maybe calligraphy show such strong effects. They demand fine motor control, continuous learning from your body and your mind
Yeah.
that builds new neural pathways.
This makes me think of Robert. He's a 71-year-old retired accountant. He thought his best years were done, but then he discovered Japanese joinery woodworking.
Oh, wow. That's incredibly intricate stuff.
Exactly. It's not just banging nails, it's this ancient art. Needs mathematical precision, spatial thinking, tons of patience. Within a year, he's making complex puzzle boxes, visualizing these 3D relationships, developing hand-eye coordination that, honestly, surgeons would envy.
And I bet the benefits weren't just in his workshop.
You bet right.
Yeah.
Robert's transformation was physical, too. Over 2 years, his cholesterol normalized, balance and coordination, dramatically better, sleeping better. And check this out. His scores on standard cognitive tests improved by 23%.
23% improvement. Not just slowing decline, but actual improvement.
Yeah. It shows we can keep growing, keep getting better. The brain and body are more adaptable than we think.
That's a fantastic example. Really powerful.
So that's cognitive load and motor skills. What's number 3?
The third characteristic is the social or community element.
Ah, connection.
Yes, connecting with others who share your passion. The research is clear. Isolation is one of the fastest accelerators of aging. Meaningful social ties built around shared interests create what scientists call social resilience.
Social resilience.
Mhm.
Like a protective buffer.
Exactly. It guards against physical and mental decline.
Yeah.
It's often overlooked, this social piece, but it's incredibly powerful. When you join a group, you're not just finding friends, you're building this social scaffolding that supports your cognitive abilities. Plus, shared problem solving, encouraging each other. That triggers different brain activity than doing something alone.
Eleanor, who's 82, is a great case study here.
Yeah.
5 years ago, she joined a community garden club. Got totally obsessed with heirloom tomato cultivation.
Oh, interesting niche.
Right. No background in farming, but the mix was perfect. Scientific learning about soil and pests, physical activity, social interaction in the club, creative expression in planting her garden.
It ticked all the boxes.
Totally. Now she travels to gardening conferences, writes her magazines, mentors younger gardeners.
Fantastic.
Her family jokes she's busier and more energetic now than when she worked full-time.
I believe it.
And her doctor attributes her amazing health to purposeful engagement. Having meaningful goals, challenges, keeps her sharp, active, and connected.
That's a beautiful illustration of how these elements weave together for a profound effect. Purposeful engagement is key.
Okay, 3 down. Cognitive load, motor skills, social element. What's the 4th?
The fourth characteristic is experiencing the flow state.
Ah, flow. Like
Yeah.
being in the zone.
Exactly that. Those moments of complete absorption, time disappears, you're effortlessly concentrated. You've probably felt it when you're deep into something you love, where the challenge level perfectly meets your skill level.
Yeah, definitely.
What's fascinating is the biology here. Getting into that flow state actually triggers the release of powerful anti-aging hormones and neurotransmitters.
So it's not just a feeling, it's doing something chemically.
Precisely. It has a real measurable biological effect.
Okay, let's dive deeper into that biochemistry then. What's actually happening inside when we engage in these challenging hobbies?
Well, when your brain tackles novel, complex tasks, it ramps up production of something called BDNF, brain-derived neurotrophic factor.
BDNF. Heard of it, like fertilizer for the brain.
That's exactly what scientists call it. Miracle grow for the brain. It stimulates new neuron growth, strengthens connections between existing cells, and it actively helps repair damage from years of stress, inflammation. It's foundational for keeping the brain healthy as we age.
Amazing. Are there other beneficial chemicals released too?
Oh, absolutely. Deep engagement triggers the natural release of endorphins, dopamine, serotonin. These are the very neurochemicals often targeted by antidepressants, right? But your brain is making them naturally, rewarding you for that deep focus.
So it feels good and it's good for you.
Exactly. And even more exciting, perhaps, is how complex motor skills stimulate myelin production.
Myelin. That's the insulation around our nerve pathways, the white matter. How do hobbies affect that?
Precisely. Myelin keeps those electrical signals in the brain moving fast and efficiently. It naturally degrades a bit with age, which is one reason processing can slow down. But engaging in activities needing precise motor control and cognitive complexity,
Okay.
that can actually reverse some of that age-related degradation.
Reverse it. Rebuild it.
Essentially, yes. Rebuilding the brain's infrastructure from the inside out. This means people can genuinely become sharper, more agile, even later in life. It's a total game changer for how we think about aging.
This all sounds incredibly hopeful. But I can hear listeners thinking, okay, great, but isn't it too late for me? Am I too old to start? What does the research say about when to begin these things?
The fantastic news is, it is absolutely never too late to start. Studies show measurable cognitive improvements in as little as 6 weeks. 6 weeks.
Wow.
And really dramatic benefits often appear within the first year. Plus, the protective effects, they stack up over decades.
So starting today, no matter your age or current fitness, it makes a difference.
Yeah, huge difference. You can start raising that cognitive and physical resilience right now.
What about that inner voice, though? The one that says, oh, you're too old to learn new tricks, or I'm just not talented enough for that.
Yeah, that voice can be loud. But it's critical to know that science has thoroughly debunked those old beliefs. Your brain's ability to learn and adapt doesn't just plummet with age if you keep challenging it. And this idea that you need some kind of natural talent to benefit, that's simply a myth. The benefit comes from the effort, the learning process itself.
Okay, so talent isn't the barrier. How do you find the right activity then? One that works for you.
The key is finding that sweet spot. You mentioned flow state earlier. The activity needs to be challenging enough to really grab your full attention, push you a bit, but not so ridiculously hard that it just becomes frustrating and you give up.
Like exercise, right?
Yeah.
You don't run a marathon on day one, but just strolling around the block might not do much either.
Exactly like that. The sweet spot is where your brain is working hard, maybe you feel mentally tired but satisfied after an hour or two, and you're keen to get better.
Are there surprising examples? Hobbies that fit these criteria but aren't the first things people think of?
Oh, definitely. Things like competitive chess, or learning a foreign language really well, aiming for fluency, mastering digital photography, not just point and shoot, cooking complex cuisines, understanding techniques, flavor science, even community theater, memorizing lines, coordinating with others, performing under pressure.
Right, things that require multiple skills working together.
Exactly. That multifaceted challenge is what triggers the benefits.
So we really need to shift how we think about hobbies. They're not just casual time fillers. They're serious investments in our future health, our independence.
That's it, precisely.
Because when you realize that the hobby you choose and how deeply you engage with it could literally shape whether your 80s and 90s are vibrant and independent or marked by decline, well, the choice feels much more significant, doesn't it? It's not just about passing time. It's about shaping the quality and maybe even the length of your remaining years.
Absolutely. Think back to Margaret, Robert, and Eleanor. They didn't just stumble into these transformative hobbies. Each one made a conscious choice to challenge themselves, often despite skepticism from others around them. Their stories really drive home that embracing complexity later in life isn't just about, personal growth. It can be about survival, about maintaining your independence.
And the research keeps coming, reinforcing this message. Engaging in complex, meaningful hobbies. It's one of the most powerful things you can do for both lifespan and health span, those healthy, vibrant years.
Yeah, the effects are so strong, some researchers are genuinely starting to talk about hobby prescriptions from doctors.
Hobby prescriptions, love that.
But you don't need to wait for a doctor. You don't need anyone's permission to invest in activities that could add years to your life and, crucially, life to your years. The chance is right here, right now, for you to choose to be an active player in your own longevity story.
So here's the challenge I want to leave you with today. Do you want to spend your coming years as just a passive observer of what you thought was inevitable decline? Or do you want to be an active participant in your own potentially incredible longevity journey? Identify one thing, one complex, challenging hobby that genuinely sparks your interest. Something that excites you enough that you think you might actually stick with it. It doesn't matter if it's painting or astronomy or mastering sourdough bread.
Anything that pushes you.
Exactly. What matters is that it pushes you beyond your current comfort zone. Because that difficulty, that challenge, that's the magic ingredient. That's what triggers those amazing biological processes for longevity we talked about.
Don't put it off.
Don't wait. The best time to start building that cognitive and physical resilience is right now, today.
Your future self will thank you.
Yeah.
Profoundly.